Welcome to the Simplified Stamper. Make sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on future videos. Hi everyone, I'm so excited to bring you this card design today. We're going to be using this really pretty stamp set that I've gotten and I haven't used it enough. It's called Love What You Do. I'll be bringing the picture back up here on screen in just a second. I really liked some of the stamps, but there was a couple of the stamps in this stamp set that are just like blotches, the little tiny ones. Can you see that? I didn't know what they were for. And after doing some research and asking some questions, I was told that they're actually supposed to be highlights for the flowers. So I was like, okay, well then I have got to make a card with this. So I decided to do a really pretty monochromatic card using just one color. This is Flirty Flamingo, and I think it's just an absolutely happy color. So I always stamp first once just to get the stamp dirty. I think dirty stamps work better. So I was just trying to decide here where exactly I wanted my flower design. And isn't that just beautiful? And it stamps lovely every single time. I'm using my Stampin' Chamois, which you can see is nice and loved and used, to clean off that stamp. And we'll be using the Flirty Flamingo throughout the entire card. And I'm going to show you a really cool trick as we get closer to the end of this, so stick around. Alright, this stamp is one of those weird blotchy stamps that I didn't know what it was for. And someone told me, hey, it's the highlights for the flowers. So I'm like, okay, I gotta give this a shot. So I'm stamping and then stamping off because I want to start off really light as the highlight. So you'll see that I stamped off twice and it puts this really beautiful shaded halo around the flowers. So I was trying to figure out, which direction to put this in, that kind of thing. But I think it turned out so pretty. And that would technically be the perfect highlight for the flowers. But I wanted to try to add a little bit more dimension. So I pulled there's another smaller highlight, and I think it's supposed to be for a different flower within the stamp set. So, but I wanted to give it a shot and see if I could highlight like closer to the center of the flower. So I stamped off a couple of times. I'm trying to decide which way is up on the stamp. It probably doesn't matter. But I don't want to put like a harsh line, so I'm kind of gently stamping off so I could bring just a little bit of ink back towards the center of that flower. I really liked doing this. Maybe I could have just stamped straight into it, but I didn't want it to be like a defined line where the extra color was. I wanted it to look really abstract. So I'm going through and kind of highlighting the center, and you can see how it is building up slowly along the centers of these flowers down towards the base where the bottom of these petals would be. So I think it turned out really pretty. Now here I'm pulling up my sentiment. Oh nope, I decided to do some accent flowers. And I did want them to truly be accented and be in the background of all this. And I keep forgetting I have to remind myself to stamp off first, so that way it's not too dark. So that's my hesitation going, oh, what am I doing now? So, and I also put my ink to the left of me, and normally I do not do that. My ink is always on my right hand side, so I think it's throwing me off in this video. So I'm going to go all the way up and down the side of this card for a border, and I think it turned out really lovely. You got to let me know if you have this stamp set. If you don't, it's a really great one. I like it. It's one of the very first ones that I purchased, but I never really used it that much. So I'm trying to prepare for my very first craft fair that is going to come up in the end of October. So I'm busy trying to make lots of cards using lots of different stamps that I haven't been using. This one, oh, I flashed it too fast. I think it's like Beautiful Bouquet. is the stamp set, and this is a beautiful wedding. It's geared towards the wedding. There's a happy birthday sentiment in there, but which is what I'm going to be using here. But I've got the dies and everything. It's really geared towards wedding, but I really love that happy birthday, the scripty writing from that. So I went ahead and used that. And then I am going to see what I'm doing next to make sure I know what I'm talking about. Yes. Okay, so I wanted to add, it's very stark white on the Whisper White cardstock, so I wanted to add a little bit of color to the paper. It's really not a lot of color, but just to not have that stark white on there. So I'm using these blender brushes. These are those ever so popular, you're seeing everywhere, the makeup brushes that people are using. I have these sponge daubers that Stampin' Up! Sells, but I've been seeing a lot of people using these blender brushes. So I went ahead and went on Amazon and I purchased this pack of like 10 for $10. It was like $10.50 or something with free shipping even. And I absolutely love them. It gives the perfect blend. I don't know, it's just so soft and perfect. So that kind of took the white off of the card. And now I'm just taking my Wink of Stella and I'm adding just a little bit of shimmer to the petals. And I'm seriously Wink of Stella obsessed, if that's a thing. I need like a bumper sticker or something, because I really enjoy this. It's just adds that little bit of glitter. And now I'm going through and literally putting like a dot of shimmer in the center of each one of these flowers. It just adds that extra dimension of color and contrast and shine. So this is me going, if I could paint the whole card in Wink of Stella, I would. You are going to love my next, one of my next videos here coming up. It's got quite a bit of Wink of Stella in it, and it's so pretty. So here I'm trying to just dry that off a little bit. And I don't know if it really, this shimmers just a little bit. You can see that shimmer, but it's in person, it's absolutely gorgeous. Okay, so I'm going to show you a trick. I wanted to put a bow on here, and I did not have a bow that I don't have a lot of embellishments when it comes to ribbon and whatnot. And so I'm trying to move my panel here. So I have to use what I have, and I have a lot of that baker's twine, and I absolutely love the baker's twine. So I'm squeezing my stamp pad, getting ink into the lid of it, and we're going to use that lid as a container, and I'm going to put some water in there. Okay, you could use a separate dish, but I have a small space, so we're just using the lid. And I'm throwing my my baker's twine in there, and actually I use a fork most often, but it wasn't sitting where I didn't see it. So I'm using my my water brush, and I'm just mixing it into the ink and letting it soak up the water with all of that ink. And now I'm going to have a custom colored baker's twine that matches the monochromatic card. Now, is that not awesome or what? So now not only do the inks for the stamps match, but so is this amazing baker's twine, which I use on a lot of things. So I'm soaking up all that water. You don't want water on your ink pad. So what I'm doing is I have my, I think I must have wanted to get a little bit more water to get that color to spread to all of it. So what you'll see here is I have a rag, and I use this rag. It's so stained with ink colors. I don't even wash it. I probably should wash it. But I'm trying to figure out how do I get it out of here and not make myself an inky mess, because I already get myself an inky mess anyway. So I'm putting the that twine in that rag right there, actually, and I'm just using the corner of the rag as well to like dry out the lid, because you don't want to add water to your ink pad. That would be bad. And now I'm going to step away and take that in the other room and use my heat tool to dry it. It only took like a minute. It's not very thick twine, so it didn't take long at all. Now Here I'm going to add some of the tear and tape. I'm trying to decide where I want my baker's twine. And I'm going to use some tear and tape to adhere on the back of the card so that my baker's twine will stay in place. So I'm going to peel off the backing of that, just making sure that that's where I'm going to put my bow. And if I had it to do all over again, you'll see here in a minute that I was a little frustrated because I did not have enough twine to do a bow. I did it, but it was not easy. So now I'm going to adhere my baker's twine to the tear and tape. And then I realized I wasted a whole lot of, after I've wrapped this around, I'm like, oh shoot, I wasted a lot in the back. I didn't color enough baker's twine. So I'll unravel it and then do it again so that I don't waste all that space of twine, because I wish I had more. So there's that. It's just stuck to the back. I didn't even knot it in the back. And then I'm going to put that bow on the front, right in there. So I actually just used some of the mono liquid glue and just glued down my bow. And it doesn't take much at all. As a matter of fact, I found if you put too much, it'll glop around, and then you'll have sticky stuff on your card, and then it'll be sticking to the envelope and that type of thing. So I'm just trying to adjust the bow and make it sure it looks the way I want it to. And see, it tried to stick to my finger because that stuff is sticky. I think I ended up using the container for the glue to hold it down to press because it wanted to stick to me. Fluff up the bow and stuff like that, and ended up setting really well. And I'm just here, you can't see it, I'm just trying to adjust the bow, that type of thing. And now I'm just going to mount it to my thick Whisper White cardstock. I didn't think that the thick was necessary, but I actually really like the thick cardstock. It just gives a better base. When someone's holding the card in their hand, it feels more like a store-bought card when it has that substantial weight. And of course we're using our dimensionals, because popping up your card panel is the only way to go, right? So, and especially because I had all that twine underneath, I didn't want to try to glue it on directly. So there it is. There is our finished card. Isn't that super cute? I really love that. But then I thought, well, if I did this and it is so cute, I should do more. So I had these little, I don't know, these ones are called gems. I don't know, they're leftover from a paper pumpkin that I had in April or something. And so I'm just scattering about these. It's going to drive me nuts because they're not the jewels. These are they're soft. Gosh, I can't think of the name of this one. See? But anyway, they're in there, and I'm not sure. I need to go get the catalog and look it up because it's going to drive me nuts. But they're not the jewels. They're actually just acrylic-looking domes of cute shimmer. So I'm just scattering them about because I had these extra, and I thought, this card needs some shine, especially since it is all monochromatic in the same color. But I really loved the way this came out. So check out the finished card. How pretty is that? It's got shine and shimmer, and even though it's all in one color, it still looks fabulous. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends. You can find more of the Simplified Stamper on Facebook, Instagram, and Pinterest.